welcome
OG versus Anjay.
That's right, my beautiful crowd. This is the one to remember, my friends. Now everybody at home, they are asking themselves, they are wishing, begging that they could have been here. And I want them to feel the experience now. Please, Stockholm, give me everything you got. Are you ready for the grand finals?
Keren.
Mari nonton
We are about to get
STOCKHOLM.
underway for the greatest Dota that you have seen this season yet. But before that, let's take a look at this beautiful piece.
At this point, we don't really care who meets
Gimana itu
in
nih?
the finals, because we already beat everybody. So like, yeah, we don't care.
Guys,
We're super confident that we can beat anyone. I think the atmosphere in our
Udah.
team is
Udah jadi.
excellent, and we play pretty good. So I think we're very confident.
Taking has his ultimate available, but Saberlight with the black hole and the death onto
Yeah.
Beautifully done from TSM as they are looking to go to the grand finals.
Yes.
When we lost to TSM in the playoffs, we learned a lot from those games. So
Aduh,
Siapa yang
mana
ada?
nih? Aduh,
the phasing will be much different than the first one.
guys.
Seragio up on the high ground.
Pendukung TSM banyak amat, tapi SOG banyak amat. Nggak imbang kali. Si Misa nggak ada, kasian kali Misa sakit sih.
Play against these teams, it often feels like they're playing kind of slow. Then we're just like smashing one team after the other.
Their strength is that they actually play more together than a lot of the teams here. But I don't think that will be enough for them. They need to play better as well.
Being spotted out, there's the blade fury from Skeeter. Wukong's commando, Yuragi, OG are here in numbers.
Of course, we're prepared to beat them.
We're winning this entire thing. You guys have no chance.
Mari kita lihat dari picknya, sebenarnya sih udah kelihatan siapa menang.
Alrighty, folks, the time has come. Please put your hands together for the last hope of North America in this NAEU Grand Finals. You know them, you love them. Will OG beat them? Never, ever bring them out! TSM!
TSM Momender sih mantan OG. Bisa lah, kita nggak bisa. Tapi kasihan aja sih. SM itu di echelon ini udah masuk belum sih? Divisi poin 2012 kita. TSM udah top 2 sih anjir. Susah sih menangnya, lebih berpengalaman tapi 250 nya.
Underdogs coming to claim it all, and this team's done it so many times. That legacy lives on now. Can anyone stop them? We're about to find out. Bring me out, OG!
Tapi ini masih 50-50 ya, nggak tahu kita ada teman. Jam berapa nih? Besok pulang lagi. 3 match 19-12 kan terus ini. Final keren. Supportannya Tata OG cuk. PSM.
We are moments away from having a draft on our screen for this grand final series between TSM FTX and OG. We got a best of 5 ahead. us between two teams that have
Tuh
already
di komentar
faced
juga
each other
OG
way back.
doang.
But both of them say, different teams. OG is saying, we've learned a lot since then, Jenkins. What have they learned?
They've learned a lot. I mean, it's hard to break down because what they're doing is so crazy. Like it doesn't look like anything else that we've seen, which I feel like is a staple of OG, right? You look at this team and it's like they're completely breaking Dota. It started with Thompson, now it's these new guys. You got a motherfucker going Midas on offlane Razor. They really like his real name. Moonshard in the quick buy. I mean, these guys are crazy. If I could break it down, I'd be up there. I'd be playing against them.
I mean, they were literally tweeting at each other that they're going to beat each other. In the interview, Saberlight's like, no one's going to beat them. So there's going to be spicy tips, going to be spicy all chat. This is going to be an intense best of 5.
And the craziest thing too is that they've got that OG winning spirit on the draft as well. No Tail's coaching them. Seb is there. That is the thing that's so good about them historically in their tournaments. They learn, they get better, and they're going to be able to use that to potentially outdraft TSM. It's going to be tough.
Yep, and of course, the original OG, Moon Meander, was actually on that OG. He did the same thing going from lower bracket. He has some of that fire as well, T.
And it's good because Moon Meander actually, in his pubs, today at least, he's been playing some of the Windrunners and Enigmas. Look at him!
Yeah!
He needs to, he's realized that in a best of 5 grand finals against OG, you need to be able to play some of the best heroes that they got. He's preparing for that Enigma pause 4 potentially, stealing away that Seb Windrunner. He's getting him in.
We got some TSMs in the crowd right now. All right, okay.
I will say, both of these teams, all this energy in this arena right now, they'll take it and they'll implement it in their game, right, Purge?
They definitely should, and they probably will. I mean, already these are players that are crowd interacting before the match. They're getting set up. Everything has to be perfect, and they're amping everyone up. It's so good to be here.
It is incredibly good to be here. I do want to talk a little bit about the nitty-gritty Dota stuff, because that's also why we're here. We want to see some top-tier Dota to be played, and it starts with the draft. And yesterday, when we asked Crit about what would you do about this Wind Ranger, and he's like, well, you gotta choose your poison. There's a couple ones, because it's not just Wind Ranger T. You've also got the Razor, the Timbersaw. Who are you gonna
The Monkey King now.
Monkey King, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? There's potential scenarios where you can give away the Timbersaw, but you pick the Monkey King yourself. That allows you to ban out the Windrunner. I think this will be the true tell. Game 1, how do they approach it? There's pretty much 4 or 5 heroes that you need to think about. You can only ban 2, and then you have to try and play for the other 3. So this is, I just decided for the draft in Game 1.
I mean, on the flip side, you now have to worry about an Enigma coming out from TSM. That looked insane. You've got, the Dubu Enchantress. You've got the TA, which has looked really good when Tomato's been playing it. A lot of these heroes are decently popular among teams, but we're not talking about the Pugnas and the Storms and these common openings that we saw for the entire tournament. Both of these teams have such a deep hero pool that you need to ban out, that it feels like it's just not going to happen. We're going to get to see a clash of the best heroes from both of these teams.
Yep. I think maybe the only hero that TSM's using right now that looks really good for them.
I like that one.
The one that OG isn't picking is probably Doombringer. And so a lot of their series, they're picking it in their opener. Some teams, they skipped it as well, but that could be a hero that they try to use to exploit to take down OG in some teamfight advantages.
Yeah, and don't forget that Yuragi, he's got the biggest hero pool of the tournament so far. I think it's 16 heroes and, however many matches. It's disgustingly big, and that a deep pool of heroes, especially when you get to later portions of the draft, it could potentially surprise TSM when you're starting to pick up heroes that you haven't even played in the entire major yet.
So when we're looking at this series, is there anything in particular that you're going to look out for, Jenkins, in terms of player matchups? Because we have seen quite a few games where very early on in the game we have a 3v3 in the mid lane happening, so that is a little bit of spice. Any matchup in particular you are hyped for?
I do think both of these teams really value going for runes, so I think we will see the 3v3 in the mid lane. Of course, TSM coming from the NA region, they're constantly playing against Quinn from Quincy Crew, who, if he stands on a rune, it spawns there. So they're used to basically sending their supports to that lane, and they just played with him. So of course that's going to be some influence there. So yeah, I think mid lane, I think any lane Amar is in, I think that's a guy you need to look to shut down and potentially abuse. Maybe get some Batrider versus the Timbersaw action, something like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Game 1 of this best of 5, OG and TSM. draft has begun. So let's see what these two teams have in store for each other. We got the standard bats coming out here. Timber Razor. They're going to be playing from the Radiant side in this first game, and they also have first pick, meaning OG gets overall last pick and Dire side, and they are thinking about what to ban next to the TK.
Make a statement, TSM. Just first pick OG's winner. Enter the grand final. Just bam, take it from them.
That's a scary position to be in a lot of cases. Most tournaments where that happens, the team that develops the prevailing top meta hero is usually the one that goes the longest with it, because they've had the whole
first pick the Enigma. I love it. I love this.
They
They looked so good with this hero. Saberlight went like 0-6 or something on lane with it and still completely hard carried the game. Like this hero looks so good for these guys. And I also feel like the counters to Enigma, the traditional counters, they're not that good.
No.
What are you gonna pick? Silencer? Like
Winter Wyvern's not so hot.
Not so hot. Like you're gonna
Warlock,
have.
you didn't even mention it.
Warlock is not. I mean, that's
not a hero.
Not a hero.
That's not a hero. So I mean, we'll see. It is OG. This is the team that Windrunner was also not a hero prior to this event, and now it's first phase. So
Only for one team though.
only for, I mean, they made it to the grand finals. I see the numbers going up in pub. So there's a lot of pub running going on out there. Thanks for that, by the way, Seb.
All right, they get some nice AoE, which can set them up against the Enigma, all prior to Blink or BKB, while giving them a good lane. And then their second hero, what will it be?
I mean, the thing for OG here is the second pick, right? So this Kun could be flicked between mid and carry. This Enigma for TSM, we've just shown that Moon has been practicing it on the 4, so it's a 4-3 flex, but it's going to be primarily in that lane. If Kun is in safe lane, poof, clear up the Eidolons, you don't care, right?
I was thinking this is probably more than likely a Uragi Kun, just to clear the Eidolons.
And there it is. Unbeaten, undefeated hero in the hands of Seb.
So the value of Wind Ranger right now is certainly the shard, and what they do with it is when they invade their opponents, normally when your smoke breaks, you're like, boy, I hope I have a Blink Dagger so I can initiate. But now they're just like, oh, I'll just counteract all of your movement for 6 seconds in a giant AoE, and that almost always guarantees them getting at least one pick off.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that ability is that whenever a fight starts, it just takes all of the backliners that would normally be safe, that are in good positions, and pulls them into a horrible position with the frontliners. So these Grimstrokes and Lions and squishy supports are just feeding. They're just getting mopped up in the fights.
It's almost like they're solving their need to dive the backline with a 5-position hero and a 1400 gold shard. That's insane value. You don't have to pick Storm Spirits, Void Spirits, whatever. You just push them out of position, you win your fight.
Yeah, TSM response though, overwhelming team fight now. You mentioned how at mages, at land, you want to have the big spells, because when you get the nerves kicking in, having that insurance policy of the Rolling Thunder or Black Hole, it is going to be a security policy. So they're going to be pretty happy. You know, Brow, especially on the Spangler, he's been popping off one of the best Spangleers at the event so far.
And they ban out the puck, a nice counter against the Pango, so that should allow him to play a much better game. If he had to deal with like Dream Coil and X combo afterwards, that would be really scary for him.
Yeah, before the series earlier where OG played Bloodseeker offlane, I'd argue TSM could have avoided banning it, but because that they've shown it in the offlane, I think maybe they might look towards that hero as well.
That sounds pretty good. Back to your theory about team fighting, I also think like naturally in very stressful environments, think about the pressure that's going to be on you if you're in the first LAN in 2.5 years on the stage in the grand finals. Like you feel this immense pressure, and what do you do when you feel pressure and anxiety? It's like you go to your teammates, right? Yeah. And if you're going to run at your teammates, that's where the team fighters are massively powerful compared to these pickoff heroes, because everybody's 5-manning.
There's always a chance of a comeback as well. It will always have you give that hope in the back of your mind. Like, don't worry, even if you're down, one good Ravage is all it takes to come back.
Yeah, this is the 50-50 hero.
Yep, absolutely.
They continue to ban out some of Mamar's heroes, with the Viper getting banned here. He seems like the player of the tournament to me in terms of his ability to just always win the lane in a huge way, and then find these moments where it kind of looks ambiguous about who should go fight, and he just starts charging in. And just that initial being ahead of everyone else in the game moment gives them the ability to get kills, take towers, take objectives. So I just feel like you do have to keep banning his heroes. He wins lanes, and he just leads his team into victories.
Yeah, he like directs the game if he wins his lanes, and he tends to win the lane because he has 1,000 games on all of these heroes that he likes to play.
But the key thing here for TSM at least is when Amar doesn't win his lane, his ability to then come back into the game isn't like other offlaners, it's mode farm. get the Midas.
It is
that
mode
space
farm.
up. AFK on one side of the map, you might kill him a couple of times, but he wants to get to his item timings. So if TSM punish him there, then they have a big window to start punishing the fact that
His
he's
team is
ready.
OG though. This iteration of OG seems very good at enabling that though.
Because
like
Uragi's sacrificial in the
Uragi can play sacrificial.
Like
exactly.
if Mars having a tough time, Uragi's the one TPing mid on some CK, punching the mid lane with, and then just going from there.
Yeah.
They're taking a little bit of time now. Are there any of the usual suspects, other than the Bloodseeker still in the pool, that we should be keeping on our radar here?
I mean, the Coddle is going to provide really good counter pressure against towers, and then Enchantress is really good at setting tempo and taking towers as well. So maybe OG a little bit worried about things that are going to accelerate or slow down the game in extreme ways.
Maybe Tidehunter. I'm thinking about Amar heroes. He's usually plays the same things. He's got his favorites. There's do we still have, is Mars still in the pool?
Mars is also
Mars
still
in the pool.
Yep.
All right. I mean, it's not so good against Pango, but neither is Tidehunter. You know, both of those heroes don't like the magic immunity that Pango brings and the, you know, constant stunning. Like Tidehunter can't crack and shell that off, but still, it's overwhelming team fight versus overwhelming team fight. A Tide would be fun at least for us.
Yeah, still Slaughter 2, but not looking the best right now.
Underdog, man.
I think for TSM, you could easily go for like a Treant style 5 and just kind of keep the lanes pushed out, just AFK, get your items, and then you can win the game. Because for OG, they're the team that are minute 7, they're happy to go as 5. So you either have overwhelming fight for the minute 7, or you just keep the towers alive so when they start skirmishing and coming, that you're already ready to kind of repel them.
Maybe that's the plan. You win the game before Wind Ranger can buy the shard physically.
That's so smart. That makes a lot of sense.
Let's say like double Roche really fast so they can get a...
I think
Shadow Shot, right?
Drafting your entire team to beat a 15-minute timing for a 5 position is definitely really solid gameplay.
It doesn't feel...
They will go for the Rubik. It will allow them to steal the black hole. It's, it will be definitely a crowd favorite game here with a lot of plays.
So Taiga still gets to play Enigma. That's
Yep, he still does. They ended up banning out the Bane in the last phase there, of course, TSM. They haven't shown yet where they're going to put that Enigma, but Moonmeander and Dubu, both, especially Dubu, both good Bane players, of course.
The nice thing about being able to flex the Enigma is that they can pick it first phase, and then they can still expend all of their bans for like non-Enigma counters. Because if you have a 5-position Enigma or a 4-position Enigma, and you just hold one guy, and you don't get it stolen because it's in a skirmish, not a team fight, it doesn't matter as much.
They go back for one of the patch favorites, the Pugna, for some damage reduction here. It looks actually pretty good because OG is pretty spell damage based at the moment. And then Wraith King, in terms of laning stage, he's pretty happy too. It'll be fine, and he's going to be happy to jump that back line and kill Rubik.
Yeah, especially when you have heroes like Enigma and Pangolier, you need heroes to go in first for you. So in that mid game, Wraith King will be the one that will be entering the fight, getting the vision, understanding where heroes are located, so that Save like is able to get those good black holes off.
Yeah, this will be their first Wraith King that TSM
He's been trying for like 3 days.
Oh my god.
There's the Amar Underlord.
And now, because you picked your Wraith King early, you get this Underlord response, and Wraith King really kind of hates playing into Underlord. Just skeletons never really get to hit the tower.
This lane sucks, yeah.
Underlord just free farms.
Well, it's like the skeletons respawn, and then you get more damage for killing them a second time. Yeah, this is a free farming Underlord sort of game right now. There's not really much to counter here.
At least the lane looks fine for both of them. I don't really feel like either's going to get a huge amount of kills necessarily, so that can be some of the weaknesses when you pick Pugna, is that your carry sometimes struggles because you don't really have a good ability to get kills, you don't really have a good ability to defend yourselves other than Nether Wards, so I think both teams will be okay with TSM safe lane and OG's off lane.
You know, for TSM, Bryle has not played it in a long time, but I do remember during a lot of the tours of DPC when Bat was really strong, he was playing it at that point. It looks like a really good Bat game. It destroys Kunkka and the Underlord as in the core-to-core matchup, or, you know, Leshrac is like a, you know, a scuffed version of Bat Rider. It's the same thing. It's like these heroes have physical tankiness, but you just cannot take the magic damage.
TSM don't have overall last pick in the draft, so to do this, they're flexing the Pangolier to like off lane Enigma 4, picking their mid.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. That's what I think they should do.
This, shout out to the one guy that hates me saying this word, this casual Kunkka pick that is being flexed to the very end of the draft, it's gonna hinder TSM a little bit.
For sure, they removed the BZM Invoker first of all.
Would have been pretty solid mana drain against Wraith King can get you a couple easy kills. It's easier to pick and choose fights. You can chain disable Pango to stop him from rolling if you initiate first. And until Enigma gets BKB too, he's also going to have to be careful when he tries to go in. So I think it would have been a really good hero.
You probably voice for it as well, if for OG at least, for mid lane. A hero that can just quickly cut to the back line. I think it's a great matchup against Pugna. You can never really stand still and kind of decrep and, life drain.
They still end up removing the Shadow Shaman, just in case they were thinking of ending early with a lot of Roshans. Who know? But there's of course a lot of flex on the side of TSM.
Mereka butuh apa lagi sih, satu lagi?
And they are
Mereka
respecting it.
butuh mid ya, mid
Would have definitely accelerated the
laner
game a
ya.
lot more in terms of killing towers. Because right now they've got Eidolons and they've got Pugna a little bit, but they don't have the best tower hitters in the early game before they get BKBs. Because OG's just going to be landing boat combos, landing Firestorm, pulling them back into the Firestorm in the Pit of Malice again. It just feels like it's going to be difficult for TSM to commit to killing towers.
Harusnya.
Using all of the reserve time in the last band.
Gede sih, man.
It's tough because you don't know what's mid or what's carry.
Mau plan apa lagi ya bagus ya?
It's so difficult for TSM.
They're gonna run out of time as well. One other mid hero to be banned, most likely, of course, again, Kunkka being a little bit flexed, but we are still expecting it to be played by Yuragi, right?
I assume so, yeah. I mean, they picked it right away in response.
Gue tried there.
Bat Rider would have been pretty powerful too. Pugna can't really stop him from killing him or his friends other than by reducing damage, and could have been scary for Pango. Definitely Enigma has to worry about that if he wants to defend himself. He's got a black hole in a lot of cases. And there's that ban against TSM that did sneak out often in some of their first phases. No Doom here.
No Doom here. There's the Death Prophet. That is still a lot of extra pressure coming out for those towers. So if you look to set a high tempo with that.
Yeah, but they're also keeping it a little bit ambiguous, right? This Death Prophet, we've seen it have much more success in the mid lane. Still easily could be in a different role. And now Pango, Enigma, and DP all kind of up in the air. So this last pick value from OG, it kind of goes down a little bit. I would probably argue what could now maybe the carry role, and then you pick up a different mid lane to deal with DP.
Yeah.
I like that hero so much. I mean, with BKB or Yules, he protects himself against a lot of the disables that are really annoying out of the OG side. Shackle Shot's still a problem, obviously. But he's going to do percentage-based damage that heals him against an Underlord and against a Kunkka. And until Wraithpack comes out, they're not really reducing that.
Hey.
There's a Lina at the end of it all.
That's a solid pick. I was looking at BGM's hero pool from the major so far, and none of them would do well against this potential mid DP. But a casual Lina, you put in the mid lane, you can easily scale to be a carry. You get a quick BKB, you can take the fight, you can actually defend the sieges when DP hits 6. It's going to work out.
Yeah, for a long time, I remember Lina was considered to be like the DP counter because she's one of the few heroes that you can actually burst the DP after she's ulted or before she's ulted. Because with DP, it's like if you let her survive for more than 2 seconds, she just heals the full HP and then kills your entire team. And so you need to burst her.
And it's a rare mid hero that can bring carry potential, so it allows them to put the Kunkka against the Enigma like they wanted to kill Eidolons, and they still get a normal mid hero, and they're going to have enough carry potential to bring that T1 sort of style of carry from the mid.
And if you just black hole to carry Kunkka, there's still a Lina that can carry. Like having a single core, in the game against Enigma feels horrible. You just hold them every time.
I have avoided asking this question the entire day so far, but do we have a favorite after this get-draft?
Oh.
I'm not cursing anybody. I'm not cursing this one. I'm actually not going to.
All right. No, we don't know. That's good, though. Nobody knows. And that's good. Otherwise, we didn't have a great game of Dota on our hands. And we do have a great game of Dota on our hands. Made extra great by Odie Pixel and Fog.
Yes, hello ladies and gentlemen, hello Stockholm, and welcome to the grand finals here as we're getting ready for TSM FTX to go up against OG. Fog, we just had the draft. What do you make of this? Again, we're seeing that win ranger get through the draft, but on the side of TSM FTX, every reason to believe that they've got a really solid lineup, and ending it with this Death Prophet could allow them to really apply some early pressure and match the pace that OG's been taking over the games against some of the previous teams.
Felt like it's something they needed at the end of the draft there. No ways to really take buildings, no way to take objectives easily, so cleaning it up with that pick for Saberblade at the end, looks like it could be pretty good. Lots of skirmishing, I think, is going to be going on in this game.
Kenapa berhenti ini, Bang?
The picks, faster cooldowns than usual on the side of OG, not really relying on any of those long durations, while TSM a little more focused on that big team fight that could come out later on.
Here we go as we get ourselves into the action. Already TSM FTX starting things off with a smoke.
And a nice little tip, of course, good luck, friendos. It's a very friendly bout right here. A lot of trash talk was going on the Twitter and whatnot between them, but it's friendly bands.
One of the reasons why it's going to be so much fun seeing these two teams face off against each other in the grand finals. We've heard the confidence in-game and out-game from their players. Both teams absolutely with the belief that they have what it takes to become the champion.
Very curious to see how much damage mitigation. I know it's something we talked a lot about in this tournament, but looking at the drafts that we have from both sides, right? We have Shield Crash, we have the Pugna, the Nether Ward, we're probably gonna have Wraith Pact, side of OG, Atrophy Aura, Kunkka Rum, Fade Bolt, Reduction, lots of different ways to just stall out these fights from both sides. So yeah, we're in for a treat.
Absolutely. I mean, there's the potential for black holes to come out from both sides this game, which is always something to look out for. And it's those sort of big, impactful ultimates that can make the difference when it comes to crunch time in a grand finals. See, around the runes. Doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to get a grab on each other. So looking at the lanes that we're going to have set up.
OG's got 3 at least.
Oh, they didn't.
A little slight advantage.
They are going to have that little bit of a bonus. And in terms of the matchups, who are you most concerned for? You know, with the last few picks coming in towards the end of the draft, do you think anyone's going to have a tough time early on?
Gotta be honest, I kind of like OG's lanes across the board. All 3 look pretty solid. They just have to watch out how they play with the Eidolon's top, in particular versus the Kunkka Cleave, of course. Bottom, also, just careful how you summon your skeletons versus the Underlord, just because he can build up that damage. It could get a bit problematic. So I think all 3 lanes look pretty good for OG.
Iya, makanya Lina
See how well Brawl can do the start, where it's never too much fun being a melee hero against Lina, especially when it's in the hands of a strong player such as BZM. But Brawl, he has been popping off on his Pango before.
Not a traditional hero for BZM, though.
No, for sure. A bit of a change up towards the end. I mean, OG must have seen sort of the strength that this hero can have sort of in the overall game. I mean, what do you sort of feel that Lina does offer as a hero in this sort of draft that OG's running?
They had to have something that's going to be able to burst the DP, and if they did put the Death Prophet in mid, have that good lane. Of course, TSM, they did switch things up, making sure that the Pango is going to be mid, throwing Saber Light top. It's going to be this advantageous matchup for BZM, and he's going to just always be able to burst DP, and I think just like Panel was saying, secondary, third type of core that OG tends to go for. So it doesn't matter if one person gets black holed, if they focus on the Kunkka, he'll be able to provide some damage as well.
See down bottom, some good harassment here thrown the way of Tiger. Over, of course, on the other side of the map, Moon. He's going to head towards the jungle. Is this top lane sort of an area where Saberlight is going to feel pretty safe in on his own, or could he be a threat of dying?
I think he can definitely be a threat of dying. Torrent connects, they have enough chase and control to be able to get him if he does step up too far. Bit of a speedy hero, of course, the Death Prophet, but yeah, just that much chain stun. Tons of damage between these two as well. I think this is the